Hey everyone, Lewis aka Spider-Man 1991 here with another graphic novel review, where today I will be talking about Green Arrow the Archer's Quest. This story takes place right after Kevin Smith's run on Green Arrow, and I did review that trade collection last week, so if you want to, you can go check it out. I'll put a link to it in this video. Anyways, let's get started. Let's get back to the main book we're talking about, Archer's Quest. This is pretty much written by Brad Metzler, who took over Green Arrow after Kevin Smith, and this is his only story on the title. Okay, so basically the story opens up with Oliver at his grave where he meets Superman, and as Clark Kent, he gets Oliver all the photos of people who attended his funeral for Oliver Queen. And Oliver's going through all the photos, and he sees someone he doesn't recognize, and he wants to know who this is, so he asks various people he knows in the superhero community, and that leads to Roy Harper, his former protege, delivering the information, and he finds out that the mysterious man is none other than washed-up supervillain Catman. By the way, this is before Secret 6, I want to point that out. So if you've read Secret 6 before reading this, you are going to be a little surprised that Catman was once a fat, washed-up loser. Anyways, once Roy gives him the information, Oliver and Roy decide to track Catman down and figure out why the hell he was at the funeral, and they find him, and it turns out he was actually asked to go there by the Shade, who Roy learns that Oliver actually hired Shade to make sure that at his funeral no one would get hurt, and to also destroy all of Oliver Queen's possessions if Green Arrow ever died. And of course, Roy is shocked by this, that Oliver would ask someone like the Shade instead of him, or Batman, or Dinah, Black Canary, and Oliver counters saying, most of us are going to die, but Shade's an immortal, so if you have someone to take care of something after your death, get the immortal guy. However, Shade reveals that there are actually a few possessions he couldn't track down, so Oliver decides to go find them himself, and Roy decides to tag along for the adventure. The duo do track down the remaining possessions, and it leads them to an interesting scavenger hunt that takes them to the old Arrow Cave, the new JLA Watchtower, the Flash Museum, and an old aircraft owned by Ferris Air. At the end of the story, Oliver rounds up the remaining possessions, and this time though he has a change of heart and decides to leave everything to Roy, telling him that if he ever does bite the bullet again, make sure these things go to all of his loved ones. So I like the concept of this story, the idea that a hero who, so originally Oliver got the concept, he and Hal Jordan actually got the concept after Barry Allen died. Now, after Barry Allen died from Crisis on Infinite Earths, they went to his house, rounded up all of his possessions, anything that could connect him to the Flash, to destroy it. But unfortunately, Barry's identity went public after his death, so their efforts were botched. And after Hal Jordan died at the end of Final Night, Oliver acted a little more faster and destroyed all of Hal's possessions to make sure no one publicly knew that Hal Jordan was Green Lantern. And I really did like, and again, that is an interesting concept, that a hero would not want his or her any connections made to their real identity after they died in order to protect their loved ones. It is an interesting concept, and it is pretty emotional when you think about it, because you would have to trust someone important to you, or in this case, someone who will just do it for money, in this case Shade. And in a way, when you see the panels, it is sort of hard on Oliver to destroy Hal's stuff when we see the flashback, but ultimately he's able to do it, and Roy finds it a little messed up that he would have all his stuff destroyed instead of giving it to people. And of course, Oliver does have a change of heart at the end. Also, the story does a good job to help repair the relationship between Oliver Queen and Roy Harper, which is nice. The reason why they stopped working together was because Roy got addicted to heroin and Oliver just basically kicked him out. And also I like this story because, well, I am a sucker for road trip stories, and when you have superheroes and a road trip, I am all over that. I am interested, and I will read it. So, honestly, this was a very good story. Some of the possessions that we do see in this book, we do see later in future DC comics. In fact, I saw some of the things featured in this story in other in other DC titles like Flash and Green Lantern. Well, Green Lantern Rebirth specifically. So really, this was a very fun, very short but fun story. It's got a lot of heart to it. We do find some things out about Oliver's character too, about how something interesting that wasn't known about his relationship with Connor before Oliver met him. So there's a lot of stuff in here. It's got a lot of heart, some story and moments that will get you to the core of Oliver Queen. So overall, I think Archer's Quest is probably one of the best Green Lantern stories I've ever read. It is available in trade paperback as well. This is just the most recent collection that I found in hardcover format, which is really nice. Personally, I think if you have to make a choice, I would say get the hardcover over the paperback. But that's just me. You can get whatever you want. And it's also available digitally. So yeah. Thank you again for watching. I'm Spider-Man 1991 saying see you later.